Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this week's video, we're buying all the parts to make this Jeep all official, especially what's inside this envelope. So let me show you, because it's pretty dang cool. So we went ahead and bought an original set of 1962 Virginia license plates. They're basically brand new, old stock. So really excited to slap those on this Jeep. We also went ahead and bought a brand new steering wheel, because if you followed the last episode, we had to chip that one off because she was not coming off the steering column. So we're gonna put that on, get the horn button working again. We need to finish up one more attribute on the steering, and that is the drag link. We're gonna rebuild that and do a whole bunch of other stuff to the Jeep. Let's pull her in the shop and get started. Once the old steering wheel was pulled off, we used mechanics wire to pull the horn button and wire through the column to the base of the steering box in order to hook it up. It made installing the button extremely easy. Once the new steering wheel and horn button were all installed, it was now time to pull the drag link, which was the final steering component that we needed to rebuild in order to complete the entire steering refresh.
Today we're going to be pulling the oil pan off. It doesn't have anything seriously leaking from it, but we just figured we'd do the oil pan seal when we're doing oil change on the motor. So just killing two birds with one stone. Today we're at one of my favorite junkyards that I live somewhat close to. One of those junkyards that still have a lot of old iron hanging around. This yard specifically has a whole Jeep section. The sad part is that they're getting ready to crush most of it. One thing for the CJ5 that I'm in need of is a gauge cluster. The one in the Jeep does not work. at all. We actually found one. It's in a older Jeep wagon, Willys wagon. Let's roll over to the yard and show what we got. Here's the old wagon we're gonna be pulling some parts off of today. She's really picked through, and I'm so happy that she's still here, as I did remember that they did have the correct gauge cluster last time I was here. Everything else is very picked. But this looks to be like the correct one that I'm looking for, and I hope that it works. Now we just gotta get this thing out of here. Hopefully he doesn't charge an arm and a leg for it. Let's get started. Got what we needed. I'm just praying this thing works.
Once back at the shop, we dismantled the entire speedometer in order to clean it and make sure that each component was working as it should. Things like the speedo needle, turning the back of it to make sure that it actually moved. Also, pulling the temperature and fuel gauge out in order to make sure that they were working before going back to CJ5.
So with that new Willys speedometer, we're taking it all apart and putting it all back together to make sure everything is functional, which it's checked out to be all working. We do need to take this one off the CJ5. A couple of the light indicator pieces have crumbled into nothing. So I want those to glow red. So we're gonna get this one off so we can use those.
Oh man, nothing like the open road. We're out driving about 2 hours from home to track down some CJ5 parts. I found a guy that has a hood and a couple other items that I'm looking for. He said he has a ton of other stuff in his garage, so hopefully this is gonna be a huge score for us.
Here's the score from that guy's place. We got a new pan, 4-pan. Mine's all rusted out here. If you guys have recalled, don't have all of these boots that are need to go over the shifters, as well as this axis panel. Also got 2 hoods. Both of them are not the color I need. Nothing a little paint can't help. Here's a new panel that I picked up over the weekend. We're gonna be putting it in the Jeep today. As you can see, this one is a little rusty, and it's got this sweet window in it, you know, for extra airflow. And then the boot trim rings I needed. This one's seen better days. I did get new boots. They don't fit the greatest. So we're gonna get that changed out real quick. Even though the Jeep is running really great right now, one thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go and make our own plug wires and do a cap. So want things to be original, so we went ahead and bought the correct stuff boots, all the wire to make it period correct. our secondhand gauge all installed, the temperature sensor is working on the gauge. It's sending, I believe, false readings saying that it's overheating, but it's most certain it's not overheating. Got a new sensor, which is over here, back of the box. We're gonna get that off and slip this other guy in, see if we can get some good readings. Looks like it's reading correctly now. We got a new float in the gas tank, so we can actually have our new gauge that we put in work. So everything works. The next thing we're gonna tackle is, if you see here, the oil light is staying on. Obviously it's not running, but it does stay on when we're driving down the road. And I know 100% that this Jeep has oil pressure. So we're gonna go ahead and just do the safe thing and just replace the sensor. It could be a faulty sensor or something, but they're cheap, so we're just gonna throw it in.
If you noticed during our first test drive, our speedometer needle was all over the place. The culprit was an old speedo cable, so we went ahead and replaced that and fixed the problem immediately.